Okay, now I'm a bit too fast. Okay. The system works, and we have, in Europe, we have the European idea on one hand. Okay, there's one Europe, and we want to have a more common view of our problems, of our data sources. But on the other hand, from data point of view, we have still 27 European member states with maybe not 27 different data availabilities, but with a lot of different data policies, regulations, and development stages. And we have hundreds of different business models. We will hear more about that in our work package 7 today. From what I have learned in the remaining 2.5 years, and also in my daily job at the GLR, we have a lot of local solutions for local problems in Europe. And okay, so far we have no comments on there are standards, but from my point of view, we have no ubiquitous data standards. We have, as you can see on the map, we have gray spots in Europe, and as a conclusion, data-wise, we have no common European viewpoint. This is the problem we are facing when we are talking about data in Europe. But every problem needs a solution, and our first step in order to solve this problem is our recommendation on the common data catalog for European ITS. That means before we discuss standardization issues or standardization topics in Europe, we should clarify what to standardize, what data classes are needed essentially for ITS services in Europe. And so we gave our recommendation to our project officer, to the European Commission, and our short-term vision in that respect is that we have at least a European free data policy for safety and maybe for security applications. I think it's on you to imagine what could be a long-term vision in terms of data. But my main conclusion is, let's free the data in Europe. That's it. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready for your questions.
Thank you, René. Now we are a little bit ahead of time, so we have plenty of time for questions. And if somebody has a question, please raise your hand, or we'll bring your mic so that also web listeners.
My name is René from Luxembourg Public Research Center. Thank you for your presentation. Your conclusions are right. We all share them, but one of the conclusions was really important. You said that 27 member states have different data formats. More or less.
Not formal, but
yeah, and the conclusion, immediately the conclusion, we need a standardized standard. But did you went through the reasons why the standards are different? And what would be the impact of this common standard at the end, from the business perspective?
Okay, again, I was not talking about we need standards, that's for sure, also in Europe. But I was not talking about the necessity of having a new standard. But what I wanted to point out was that before we talk about standard, we have to talk about data classes. That means what to standard. What data classes have to be available in all European member states in order to implement ITS services all over Europe. As I said, we have a lot of local solutions and very nice solutions, and they're very good. But what we need is a more European view. And my point of view is, I'm convinced that we have to talk about data classes that have to be available all over Europe. And when this is ready, when this has been accomplished, then we can talk about standards. Sorry. And is it answering your question?
Yeah. Do you think that this is realistic? My question at the end, if we need, for instance, take the class of public transport data. Do you think that this is realistic to one day to find that, or to reach the situation where everyone has to use the same, and for which use basically? Is it for facilitate the travel solutions or services to the Europeans?
It is not a short-term vision. That's okay. We have to find a solution for our most important problems at the moment. This is safety, this is security. But ITS is sometimes also nice to have. And I would like to answer the question, yes, this is my vision. This, in a mid-term or in a long-term point of view, from a long-term point of view, I would say yes. Maybe in 10 or 20 years, we have the same data availability all over Europe. And then we can talk about standards, and then we can implement the same service all over Europe. Then we can escort a trip from Italy to Finland with the same application, with the same implementation. This is my vision. Okay, how likely this is a good question, but I can't answer.
Good luck.
Thanks for your question.
Okay, are there any
But
other
we
questions?
need your help, that's for sure. We cannot do it alone. We need the help of the European Commission, but the European Commission, I think, is the force we have now but we have it in Europe. And I think the job of the European Commission is to convince the local governments of the member states to take part in this initiative.
Okay, any other questions? Emilio? Emilio Davila Gonzalez is our project officer.
Yeah, thank you. You are talking a lot of the European Commission, so I feel
Yeah, you have to.
few words. No, I personally fully agree with you that we need at least a data catalog or even a standardized data format around Europe. And something that may help is the ITS action plan that we have launched. We included also some harmonization of that data for the different ITS services, starting with those based on safety and security, and the same with the ITS directive that has been the directive on deployment of ITS that has been recently approved in first reading by the Council and will hopefully be approved by the Parliament in July. And there are some of the priority actions, for instance, are for the deployment of EU-wide traffic services, EU-wide travel services, and some of the principles is to ensure continuity of the services, continuity, interoperability of the service. And for that we need a data catalog. And then I think it's a first step where we can start thinking of a couple of data catalog, starting by this application, but then going through different ITS services. For that we will need present of course proposals to different member states, but I think we need a common actions with all the public authorities, with the experts to develop this data catalog. And I agree, it's not easy. I don't think it will be easy, but it's a first step and we have to go ahead if we want to pursue a European ITS services.
Thanks.
I feel sometimes jealous of Japanese colleagues where they just decide, okay, let's put a service, we have a database, that's all. One language, one administration. But okay, here we have to work on cooperation.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Emilio. Still time for one question.